resolution and negotiation processes. It can help you also in your daily life. Mario, are you in California or not?
Yep, I live in Encinitas right now.
Oh, that's good. Because your back is so with a lot of light, but here is in Irvine is everything is going down. Okay, let's start it with human resource. At first, what is human resource? Janka, what is human resource? Basic,
Ah,
basic question, basic question. What is human? Before that.
all people around me, me included.
Yeah.
I think it's like find a good match to the position. We have
It is human resources.
the hiring motivation. So maybe training.
As human resources. Let me start with it.
Is it not like probably the area or department of a company that will make sure that employees feel, let's say, comfortable with I don't know, with the situations around, what they think their benefits and advantages, and like, I don't know, just they look for the well-being of the employees, kind of. I feel like.
Wait, how do you think?
Human resources or human?
At first, I prefer to have a definition about human. And after that, about resources and what type of resources are human resources. It's a perfect. You are Chinese, I know. And Eastern people, and also I, have a lot of definition for basic concepts like, for example, human and humanity. It's very philosophical one, especially in China, with a long-term history, about 5,000 years of history, written history in China. In that culture, how do you define the human?
I'm Korean, by the way.
Hmm?
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's your own definition of human? Is human an animal?
Yeah.
What type of animal? Only mammals?
Yeah.
What is the difference between I and a monkey? We are the same?
No.
I see a very beautiful guitar at the background of Mario. None of the monkeys play guitar, but Mario play guitar very, very good. I'm certain about it. What is the difference between me, guitar, and monkeys? It's a basic question. It is related to your management. Why? Because if you cannot consider your thinking, deep thinking about the humanity-related problems, you cannot be a good leader. At the best scenario, you will be a manager, at the best scenario. But leadership is something else. These are the basic concepts. I know. In none of the organization you will work, nobody will ask you about the definition of humanity. I know. But for example, in a country like America with a lot of diversity, Janka, are you basically American or not?
No, I'm Slovakian.
Slovakian. And Mario?
No, I'm from Venezuela.
Venezuela. And Wayne from China, and I from Iran. So we have one
I
European.
said I'm from Korea.
Korea, okay.
Yeah.
I have never met Korea, but one of the cities I wish to visit is Seoul. Also, I know that it's very beautiful. Okay, Wayne from Korea, Janka is from Europe. Okay, And yeah, you are from Europe.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And from the central part of Europe, Slovakia. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Mario is from Southern America.
Yeah, South America.
South America. Okay. We are different people here, and everybody lives in America. In a multicultural space like this, is like your future work in organization. Are we resources for each other? What type of resources I am? For example, if I want to, what is your second skill in except of, for example, reading the books and learning, what is your major second skills, not related to your university?
Mm,
Can you sing the songs?
yeah.
Okay. Janka, what about you? Or maybe accounting, maybe singing. It's not only about the art. I have the example as art because Mario has a good guitar. What's your other competencies you find in yourself?
Sewing, maybe.
Oh. And Mario, for example, playing guitar and maybe singing. Are we resources for each other to have a good party with each other? For example, we have a singer, amateur singer like Wayne, we have an amateur or maybe professional guitar player, you are Mario, and I can, for example, have a good dancer and other people's. Are we resources for each other to have a company about, for example, entertainment? Mario and Janka and Wei indicated three major components of HR functioning: job matching, finding the strengths, finding the forces, finding the powers, finding the power points in other people, and match them with the job necessities. With this introduction, we will enter the discussion of the chapter 1. Okay, this is your book, Human Resource Management. It's in your Moodle page by Robert Matis, Jackson, Valentine, and Lady McGick. It's a very good book. Learning objectives in chapter 1 is about entering the general concepts of human resource. Understanding human resource management and define human capital. It's very important to know the differences. Identify how human resource management and employees can be core competencies for organizations. Name the 7 categories of HR functions and provide an overview of 4 challenges facing HR today. Explain how ethical issues and organization affect HR management. Explain the key competencies needed by HR professionals and why certification is important here. And main titles, not important. Okay. Human Resource Management, or HRM, acronym as HRM, designing formal systems in an organization to manage human talent for accomplishing organizational goals. Highly recommended to know the keywords of every definition, every text that you are reading, the keywords. The main words, the main vocabulary that indicate the key concepts in the definition. Again, look at this definition. Human resource management, designing formal systems in an organization to manage human talent for accomplish organizational goals. Janka, what are the keywords in this definition?
I think manage human talent.
One of them is talent or human talent.
And
I find 3 keywords at least. Talent,
goals,
perfect. And the
and
first one,
systems.
systems, yeah. Systems for matching the human with organizations. What part of human? Human talent. What part of organization? Organizational goals. This is the basic, very, very simple, basic definition of human resource management. Why resources? Because it's about the talents. Why management? Because connecting the talents with the organizational goals. How can we use these personal features, personal traits for our organizations? And it is systematic and designing a system. So designing formal systems in an organization to manage human talent for accomplish organizational goals. I have a question. Why we have some accent, some pressure, some emphasis on the word formal? Is there any informal design, informal system for managing human talent and organizational goal? Can you find any informal system in organizations or not? Can we find any informal systems in organizations to fit the human talents with the organizational goals or not? Yes. Meritocracy. Meritocracy. What's the meaning of meritocracy? M-E-R-O-T, meritocracy. What's the meaning of crazy? For example, democracy, theocracy, autocracy. What's the meaning of crazy? What's the meaning of democracy? You say America is the most democratic country in the world. What does it mean? Democracy, democratic, or democracy? Mario?
Reaching an agreement by the majority.
Perfect. Very near definition. Demo in Latin word is mean people. Crazy is mean dominance. Dominance of people. The governed by people. For example, you say autocracy. Auto is mean self. When you are very emphasized on yourself, you are autocratic. He says Mario is very autocratic. It says Mario says only his words and listens only his words. It's autocratic. Theocratic. Theo is means Zeus, God. For example, some countries in the Middle East has theocratic governments. What does it mean? It means the rules of governing the countries is based on the, for example, a specific religion like Islam, like Christianity, like Jewish. And demo, you have another word in management and also in psychology. It is demographic. Demographic information. For example, I ask Janka, what's your name? What's your educational level? What's about your marital status? For example, what is your originality? It is demographic information of Janka. Demo is mean people. Graphic is mean drawing the people. It is demographic information. If you see in other books that sometimes you reach to the demographic information, age, occupation, educational level, social level, ethnicity, nationality, and other parts is demographic. Yes, we have some hidden systems in organizations. It is not meritocracy. Meritocracy is mean competency. Meritocracy is mean that we will choose people in our organization based on their competencies, not because, for example, he or she is my aunt or uncle. It is not about the family. For example, Mario is my good student, and after that, I go to a company and said, yes, Mario is very good to come, for example, as a CEO. But Mario hasn't finished until now his, for example, education and master degree. It is because I know Mario as a friend, as a good student. It is not meritocracy. It is, for example, it is favoritism. Do you know what's the meaning of favoritism? Favoritism is means choosing people favoritism. Choosing, it is illegal also. Favoritism is choosing people in organization because they are your favorite people. I say, yes, I know Dr. Tagavi, doctor, come to our organization and we want, for example, psychologists with no interview, come and do that work with no interview. No assessment about my competency that I can do it or not. It is meritocracy. They're part of choosing people based on their competency, merits. A good question. Why we need HRM? Why? You said something about it. With these details we are talking about just now, again, new ideas or more complicated sentences about the necessity to have HRM. Why we need HRM?
It acts like a government of democracy.
No, in an organization, not about only organization, not about the government or democracy.
Yeah,
Why we
that's
need?
why it's like a major force, or like where people go and address their concerns and like stuff they're not really satisfied with and looking for a change.
And we need HRM for creating that change.
Yeah, exactly. They are the ones that will like move these kind of actions or like whatever concerns.
Do you know about pain points in organization? There's a good word in organization designing. It is called pain points, not weakness point, pain points. You should know your pain points in your business plan. I know you have a very complete course about business planning, I think, by Dr. Guyavade. I'm not certain about it. It's a very good course about business planning, even in MBA or DBA. How can you create and plan a business step by step? One part is it is about pain points, not weakness points, pain points. So yeah, finding the pain points in an organization, it is one of the functions, not primary functions, but one of the secondary functions of human resource department. And another function you talked about was about job matching. But let's go to see the details about a human resource department functions. Address worker engagement and performance, leadership development, and employee retention. You know, for example, even a simple working, like for example, pizza delivery, very simple working. If you go to a pizza store and say, I have a car, I want to work here as a pizza delivery or pizza guy. They said, okay, perfect. Come here and have at least 2-hour training. 2-hour training, not about the driving, not about the pizza making, not about the delivery. What is the time, for example, after ordering and entering at the door of your customer? How can you talk with the customer? If customer has any negative emotion about coming, how should you answer? At least 2 hours. After, for example, 1 month, you are so professional, you are so skillful in pizza delivery. They don't want to lose you. You choose your work. They want to have employee retention. So one of the basic features, one of the basic criteria, one of the basic scales about the goodness or badness, effective or ineffective organization. It is about the organizational turnover. Turnover, how many people go out, how many new employees come in. It's not good. High turnover is not good. I will talk about it. So one of the first functions, one of the first necessities of having an HR department is about this worker engagement and performance. It's very important. Leadership development and employee retention. We will talk about it. It's very funny, and also sometimes it is very complicated and hard position that between the executive managers and HR managers, they are not at the same page. They don't have any equal view about the workers. Why? Because HR manager want to save employee satisfied with the high rate of wage, high rate of performance, good behavior. And sometimes executive managers are thinking only about the productivity of the organization. Sometimes they are oppositional, sometimes in one single organization, not in different organizations. The debates, very disputations between the executive managers and HR department or HR managers. Manage healthcare, insurance and other problems, retirement concern, hiring process and educating. Also, everybody in all the world think about the HR manager or HR department. When they are thinking about the HR department, they are thinking about the hiring process and interview and learning and training people to orientation, to have some good orientation with the job. But honestly, it is not only about the hiring or firing. It is between hiring and firing, many events, many responsibilities, many functions, many duties are that human resource management should come and do and have some intervention on that. Manage a globalized workforce, diversity, sustainability, and social media. One part, it is about the cultural diversity. Just now at this session, we have 4 cultures. Very warm, very, very warm culture of South America, very philosophical mind of Korean and Oriental people, very rational thinking from Europe, and sometimes very literature and artistic parts from, for example, Middle East. Now, just now, the single, very simple and single session, we are now with 4 different cultures. We are human, and we need to manage with us. If, for example, we were 40 people, we need a boss, a chef of the session, a manager of the session said, you should say. Well, 4 people doesn't have any necessity for manager. Sustainability and social media. I will talk about the Homo digitalis. Have you heard the word Homo digitalis or not? Why we are called Homo sapiens? Do you know we are Homo sapiens? Why? The species of this type of human is called Homo sapiens. What does it mean, Homo sapiens? Have you heard it, Homo sapiens? What does it mean? What does it mean about Homo? Monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees are Homo. They are Homo, but they are not Homo sapiens. We are Homo erectus. We are erectus, Homo erectus. We are the only being in the earth, on the earth, with 2 foot, only 2 foot. Other have 4. Their hands is like their foot. We are Homo erectus and we are Homo sapiens. What does it mean, Homo sapiens?
Homo, I know it means equal, like same.
Homo is human, no problem. What does it mean, sapiens?
Something with the brain.
Yeah.
Like thinker, something like that.
Yeah. Intelligent, a smart human. Homo sapiens is a smart human. What that you say, it is homo, it is H-U-M-O, homo sapiens. That's an equal, it is H-O-M-O. For example, homosexual. It is the same, yes. Homo and hetero. It's something else. Prefix, homo, homosexual, and heterosexual. With that, the word you said, the prefix you said, it is homo. It is homo be with you, H-U-M-O, sapiens, not H-O-M-O. It is H-O, homo and hetero. For example, homosexual and heterosexual. But no, it is homo. We are going to homo digitalis. You can find it in the internet. I think, you know, the CalMU has 4 centers of excellence. The number 4 is Transformation Center of Excellence in your university. I am the director of Transformation Center of Excellence. And from the next month, I think, I wish we will have some good Facebook sessions, Facebook meetings about these concepts in management, in business, what we are going to the future, only about 5 years. You can find a course, you can find a field in a university with the title of futurology. Futurology is the study of future by scientific basis, by mathematics, science of future. How do you think about the future of, for example, of business, but not only by your own mind, by using the statistics, very hard mathematics, to have a good vision, to have a good prediction of the future. This field of science is called futurology or future study. In future study of human, we have 2 words now. 1, transhuman or post-human. 2, homo digitalis. Okay. Facilitate the sharing of employee knowledge and expertise, professional expertise. Every employee, because of his or her expertise and professionality in our organization, is a source of knowledge, is a source of skills for us. And as an HR management, you should coordinate the sharing system of many employees with each other, and also with the core of your system as HR manager. It's very important. Each of our employees has some types of knowledge, specific knowledge or professional expertise, and he or she can share it with other people in a very, we said, formal, systematic approach. We talk about the definition of human resource management. It is about designing formal systems. Deal with government regulations, for example, tax laws and other parts, and maintain legal compliance. It's about the legal parts of organizations. Smaller organizations are progressive in HR management. Smaller organizations needed for some reasons are larger organizations and frees line managers for primary duties. For example, if you have only 10 employees, why do you need a department for human resources? How many human do you have in your organization? Only 10 people. But now, even you go to smaller businesses, only for 10 to 20 people, they have HR manager. Traditionally, leaders and managers and even accountants do the primary duties of human resource department, the primary duties, not the higher duties, not the advanced duties. For example, only about how who is fit with our job and what is the hiring process. These are the primary duties of human resource management. Traditionally, even the managers, even the CEO, sometimes the manager of accounting and other parts of a very little, very small business, for example, between 10 or 20 employees, do this traditionally. But these days, during the last, for example, 20 years, you see that many small business have a department, only one person, but directly as the HR management. Why? Because they know that we need some parts of human resource management for other things, not only about the hiring management. Okay. Core competency. What does it mean, core competency? How can we talk about the core competency? For example, each of us has a competency that we can use it as our major outstanding competency in our society, in our family, in our privacy, even sometimes. It's a core competency. For example,
I have a question, Professor. Sorry.
Yeah, Mario.
Wouldn't these core competencies also like, let's say if we do a SWOT analysis, would it be like a strength?
Yes. We will talk about it. Just now, I want to talk about the differences between powers
Can't hear you anymore, Professor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now
Yeah.
we can. We lost you for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fine, thank you. Let me come with this because my computer has some problems. No. Okay, core competencies. Core competency, as you see, unique capability that creates high value for a company, unique capability. So what are the keywords in definition of core competency? What is indicator? What is indicated of core? The meaning of core in this definition. Unique. Core in this definition, core competency is meant unique. Unique capability that creates high value for a company. Why competency? Because it creates value. Why core competency? Because it creates high value for a company. And it is a matter of capability, a matter of ability, matter of power. It differentiates an organization from its competitors. It's a key determinant of competitive advantage. It's very important. If you want to know your basic and crucial competitive advantages, you should know about your core competencies in your organizations. And what is the responsible department for recognizing the core competencies in your organization? It is called HR manager, or HR, for example, department. HR manager or HR department. And HR department focus on using people as a core competency. It is very important concept. Your employees are your core competency for your organization. Every human being has some character strengths. It's called character strengths and virtues, CSV. character strengths and virtues. We have 6 character strengths, for example, justice, wisdom, transcendence, courage. These are our basic character strengths. We have 6 character strengths. And based on these 6 character strengths, we have 24 virtues. For example, love of learning is one of these 24 virtues, or zest, vitality, or spirituality, or bravery, or perseverance, or creativity, or critical thinking. These are the 24 virtues we have as human beings. There is no being on the earth to have such virtues. So we have 6 character strengths and 24 virtues. It is called character strengths and virtues, CSV. We all have core competencies. And we as human beings are our organization core competencies. I have my core competencies with the name of character strengths, and my organization has core competency by the name of employees. And organizations are core competence, for example, in an industry. It is, for example, car industry. The Ford company is a character strength, is a core competency of car industry. And car industry is a core competency from the, for example, American industrial parts. From zero to hero, from the details to whole. Okay? What are the assets of organizations? A question. What is different between assets and income? What is the difference between asset and profit? What does it mean, assets?
Asset could be any good. So it could be property, machinery, or whatever that the company or people possess, and can make profit out of it.
Perfect. Perfect. Assets are the source of making profit. Assets are the source of your making profit. For example, your time of life is your basic asset. All we have one major, critical, crucial, vital asset. It's called our time of life or lifetime. It's our asset. Asset is something that you can create other things. Also, you can, for example, make money with those. With this definition of asset, this is very important to know the differences between the words. It is not the game of words. It is about the concepts. As someone who is graduating from complementary, from higher levels of education for master degree or DBA, doctorate, you should have 2 types of definition for everything in your field. For example, if you study marketing, in all aspects of marketing, you should have 2 definitions. If you are studying business, for all aspects of business, you should have 2 definitions. 1, conceptual definition. 2, operational definition. It is very important. It is the basic part of science. If you go to university, you are becoming a scientist. Also, I know it is very practical science, but it is science. You should think in a scientific method with 4 components: data collection, data analysis, results, and discussion and conclusion. Discussion and conclusion. These are the 4 elements of scientific method: data collection, gathering information; data analysis; results; and discussion and conclusions. These are the major parts of your job as a practical scientist, at least. Because of that, when you want to have some data about your project, everything is your project. For example, after 1 year, you go to the business and you have a marketing process. Marketing process have 4 stages. 1, gathering information about the present status of market. 2, analyzing this data. 3, have some result from this analyzing. And finally, discussion of some conclusion from these results. Everything. This is the scientific approach to everything, very simply speaking. So Mario helps us to have a good definition, operational definition of assets, something that we can make money or we can make profits. Sometimes our profit is money, sometimes it is not money. Also, there is a major difference between wealth and money. You know that in social stratification is based on three elements: wealth, power, and prestige. Classification in society is based on wealth, power, and prestige. Okay, now we go to the types of organizational assets. 1, physical. 2, human assets. 3, financial assets. And 4, intellectual property assets. What are physical assets? You can hear buildings, land, furniture, computers, vehicles, equipment, and so on. What are the financial assets? Your cash, financial resources, stocks, bonds, and bad debts, and so on. And what are the intellectual property assets? For example, your patents, your copyrights, your design, your research capabilities, your information systems, and operating processes. And the 4th one is very important. It is called human assets, or human capital, or intellectual assets. We see the word intellectual at the beginning of 2 phrases. 1, intellectual property assets. 2, intellectual assets. These are differently, completely different. Intellectual assets is about, for example, your right or your money you should pay, you should receive for your copyright or for patents. It is about intellectual property. For example, you write a book, and as the author of the book, you have an intellectual property about that book. It is called copyrights. If somebody else come and publish your books by his or her name, you can go to the court and have a lawsuit against him or her. It is intellectual property asset. Patents, for example, in pharmacological sciences, in pharmacy, in pharmacological industry, patents, it's very important. Medication patents are very important. The procedures that in the factory for pharmacy, they make drugs, medications. It's patent, it is copyright, it is design. But now we have intellectual assets or intellectual capital. It's about our mind, but it is asset. You can create everything in your organization and you do it. It's not about the capability. It's not about ability. It is about the possibility. You create everything in your organization, honestly, by the minds of your employees, by their thinking, by their decision-making, by their knowledge, by their skills, by their relations. Sometimes, for example, you see one CEO from one company about the computer science go to another company about the, for example, food science. And you see that, what's the problem? He or she was working in a computer science factory, and now he or she is CEO of, for example, agricultural company. Are they the same? No. But he or she has a lot of relations to other people for creating the job, for managing the job. It is called human assets or human capital or intellectual assets. Individual with their talent, capability, experience, professional expertise, relations, and so on. Okay. You know that for hybrid students, turning on the camera is mandatory because the attendance in the class is considered only with on cameras, not off cameras. If your camera is off, your attendance is absent, not present. You should know, because it is the requirement for a university that hybrid students should come to the class with on cameras, not with off cameras. Okay, human capital. Hello, Henry, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Sorry, I was
Human capital. Human capital is collective value of the capabilities, knowledge, skills, life experiences, and motivation of an organization's workforce. What are the keywords of human capital? At first, you see what are the keywords of human capital as capital? Why we call it capital? Why we call the motivation of our employee as capital, the knowledge of our employees as capital? Why? What does it mean, human capital?
It's our value.
Yes, it's value. You see the word value in different parts of human resource management. For example, in the previous definition, you see the word value in the definition of core competencies. You says it's create high value for an organization. What is the core competency? The core competency is the competency that create high value for our organizations. It's a core competency. And now again, in human capital, you see the word value. We have two words in organization, in real life, in family, in society, in government, all around the world. We work with two words. One, value, two, standards. Standards are the minimum acceptable minimum level. Under the standard, it is not acceptable. Values are the higher, the last part of the acceptance. Your idealistic approach to life is your values. Between this is real life, between our standards and our values. So when we say, for example, human capital is collective value. Collective values mean my value plus your value plus our CEO value plus our co-worker value plus our, for example, other employees, simple workers, other people. Collective value of capabilities, knowledge, skill, life experience, and motivation of organization, workforce. We are not talking about only one person. We are talking about collective value of all workforces in an organization. It is human capital. You see the words, capabilities, knowledge, skill, life experience. It's very important. If your employee has a lot of life experience, even outside of the area of your industry, it is very important. Because he or she is wise man or wise woman. He or she is a sage. A deep analytical approach to life. Very deep analytical approach to life. We call it sometimes he or she is a coach. There's the major difference between a coach, for example, with psychotherapy, with counselor, even with mentorship, is coach has a very practical approach to life. Only problem solving, only future oriented, like leaders. All the leaders are coaches, are good coaches, and all coaches should be leaders. If you find some coaches that they are not leaders, okay, they are not good coaches. What is the basic component of leaders? Leaders are future oriented. The major difference between leaders and managers. Managers are present oriented, but leaders are future oriented. You see some good words here, life experiences, and motivation of an organization, workforce. Why call it intellectual capital? Because the word human capital or intellectual capital reflect the contribution of employees' thinking, employees' knowledge, employees' creativity, and employees' decision-making. These are the intellectual executive functions of your brain. If you look at the internet and look for the word executive functions, you find something like intelligence, decision-making, problem-solving, critical thinking, creative thinking, and many, many, many other functions in a category with the total name of executive functions. Executive functions in your brain are, for example, decision-making skills, problem-solving skills, creative thinking skills. These skills, these functions are called executive functions in your brain. You see that in intellectual capital, we can find many executive functions: rational thinking, knowledge, wisdom, creativity, critics, not criticism, decision-making process, and other parts. And collective of this. For example, my decision-making process as a middle-aged man is better than, for example, Wayne. But rational thinking of Wayne as a young man is better than me as a middle-aged man. And together, collective value is very good. Wayne think better and fresher and deeper than me, and I can act and have a good, stable decision better than Wayne. Together, we are stronger. It's called collective value. It is not about one person. Principle for developing human capital. We have some advices here for developing human capital in our organizations. Recognize the importance of human capital to business success. You should find the importance. Your company, your organization will be destroyed if you, as the manager, think that it is not important about the human capital. People are not important. People are your main sources of creativity, sources of making money, your main component of your organization. What is the building block of the organization? Building blocks of organizations are people, our employee, our managers, simple employee to higher general manager. All together shape an organization. So-called, for example, IBM, Google, Microsoft, and other great, Tesla, and other great companies. Closely link human capital programs to organizational performance. Do you remember the keywords of definition of human resource management? We have 3 keywords. Do you remember? Wayne, Janka, do you remember the main keywords of definition of human resource at the beginning of the class? We have 3 keywords. First was
System.
perfect. 2,
Talent.
perfect. 3,
Goals.
goals.
I wrote it down, so otherwise
Yeah, it's easy. If you find the keywords, especially if you are not like me, you are not Native American, we should find the keywords. Your memory loves keywords, acronyms. Why in America, everything is acronym. If you go to the street and see what is the major intelligence service of America, everybody says CIA. And ask them, what does it mean, the CIA? What is the acronym? Many people, Native American, doesn't know. I bet. Go to the street, go to Los Angeles and say, ask somebody, sorry, what is the acronym of FBI? Everybody knows what is FBI, but nobody knows what's the acronym of FBI. Federal Bureau, for example, investigation. Memory loves acronyms. And keywords with shorter. It's not related to your human research. It is about the psychology of memory. You should know only 20% of the words, only 20% of the words are important for your reading, for your studies, in all aspects of your life. You should find only 2 words from 10 words, 1 word from 5 words, 20%. Other words are additional, are for elaboration. For example, this is the first session. We don't have any review on the course. This is the first minutes of the class, and I review with Wayne, Janka, and Mario the keywords of the definition of HR management. But we find together, Janka said it's a system, talent, and goals. And I said, yes, systems, human, and organization. System, human, talents, and HR management, designing formal systems for managing human talents, for accomplishing the organizational goals. Perfect, done. So you should find the keywords: human capital programs to organizational performance. What are the keyword? Capital, performance, or human, or organization. Again, focus on your current business needs rather than always benchmarking the best practice of other firms. Do your work. Focus on your own life, your own organization. You should compete with yourself at first. And finally, again, you should compete with yourself. Between the first stage and the end stage, sometimes you should compete with other people, other organizations. It is never ending improvement. This is called can I, C-A-N-I, can I, it's been can I. It's acronym for constant, C, and A, never ending, and improvement. Constant and never ending improvement, the acronym is can I. It's a basic system for asking questions, so-called power questions. Power questions coaching is very important. There are many books about the power question. Highly recommended to you, highly recommended to read a book about the power questions. It's good for you, for your family members, for your business, for your personality, for your character, everything. Power questions. How can we ask power questions? It's about can I, constant and never ending question. Maybe I find a book about the power questions and put it in the Moodle page to introduce you what the best power question books. Also, we have some books in coaching system, executive coaching, business coaching, I'm life coaching. We have some good books about the power questions that, for example, if you are an executive coach, you should ask yourself and your employees to make powerful your organization. If you are a life coach, you should ask about yourself, about your family, about your friends, about your relationship, meaning of life, and other problems that are related to life coaching or executive coaching or performance coaching, high performance coaching. And sometimes I find them in health coaching and spiritual coaching. Make sure that human capital plans match the best practices that are selected. We are designing a plan, we are designing a course for CMU, California Miramar University, in our center, Transformation Center of Excellence, that I am the director. We are designing a course for job matching assessment tools, between 4 or 5 tests completely. For example, MBTI, TTISI, these 5 big personality tests. We are gathering from the sources. For example, we are working with TTISI. TTISI is a company with $20 million per year only from education. It creates 4 decades ago, a test by the title of DISC, D-I-S-C, DISC. DISC is the most famous organizational assessment, organizational inquiry test for job matching, DISC. We are talking about the DISC in our university as the first corporate university all around the world. Any organization, even Harvard, even Stanford, doesn't work with TTISI during the last 4 decades. Now we are the first and best university as corporate university with TTISI, and coming to university and do it as an 8-week course, not 2 hours, not 2 days. It's a very professional assessment tools, job matching assessment. One of them, for example, is DISC. That you will learn something about it in your lessons during the MBA and DBA program. Other parts is be future oriented in your planning to anticipate new human capital needs. If you cannot be future oriented in a time like this time, Corona crisis, you will go out of the market. You will be deleted. After Corona, post-Corona time, will never be like before Corona, pre-Corona time, never. At least the major change that you can see just now, Corona is not ended. Just now you can see many people has a good habit for remote working. Fantastic. Lower costs. For example, after 1 year, 2 years from now, you will see that home offices will be a major extra competitive advantage in houses. If you want to rent a house, at first, instead of, for example, how many restroom or how many bathroom or how many bedroom it has, you ask how many home offices it has. Why? Because everybody is working on his or her home. Now we will have some luxury home offices during the example 1 year or 2 year after Corona. It is future orientation, futurology, or future study of everything. It is very important, very, very important. Especially if you want to create your own business, you should know, you should think about the sustainability. Sustainability is very important, and resilience of people and organizational resilience after Corona. Maximum, at the worst scenario, it is at the end of 2021, at the end of this year. It is a worst scenario, not best. Best scenario is at the end of summer of 2021, from 6 months, after 6 months. Give managers a voice and allow them to lead human capital programs. And be ready to alter plans as situations unfold. Be flexible. I have a question. What is the difference between flexibility and smooth? If you want to go to have driver license, especially in California, it's very hard. I failed 3 times. After 28 years of good driving, I was always good driver in my country. Very, very little car crash. After 28 years, I came here, I was losing my self-confidence in driving. They said, you should, for example, look at your shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, and I think that I am dancing in my car or I am driving. I failed 3 times. Finally, with praying with God, I was passed it in the 4 times. This is very hard.
What was the other word? Flexibility and what?
Flexibility and smoothness. In driving, they said to us that you should not be a slow driver. You should be a smooth driver. I remember because it was about the driving. In driving, they said, the trainer said, no. You should not driving slow. You should drive smooth.
Smoothly.
S-M-O-O-T-H, smooth.
Yeah, smoothly will be like without interruptions.
Perfect.
Like flowing. While flexibility, I don't know, it will go into like adapt to different situations, like multiple
Perfect.
situations, like more a generalist.
Perfect. There's a book with the title of Anti-Fragile by Nassim Taleb. Nassim Taleb is a political organizational psychologist. Political organization. For example, he had studies about the personality traits of Donald Trump. It's a very good investigation about the Donald Trump psychological problems by Nassim Taleb. It's political psychologist and also political organizational psychologist. Nassim Taleb has a book by the title, very famous book by the title of Anti-Fragile. We have 2 types of people: flexible people, anti-fragile people. In positive psychology, we have a very, very, very lovely, profound concept, which is PTG, post-traumatic growth. Fantastic. If you have some problems in your life, you will have some growth after that trauma. It is post-traumatic growth. Because in psychopathology, if you go to war, if you experience a sexual rape, if you experience some, for example, disasters like flooding, you have some types of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. war-related PTSD, rape-related PTSD, and disaster-related PTSD, especially about the war. The soldiers come back from the war. In positive psychology, we don't talk about the PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We talk about PTG, post-traumatic growth. And Anti-Fragile, the book authored by Nassim Taleb, is about PTG, post-traumatic growth, and about anti-fragile. Anti-fragile is mean you have some problems and you will be weak. And after going back to the same first point, you will be stronger. When you are flexible, you don't change. Not weakening, not empowering, only flexible, going down and come back to the first stage and first step. But when you are anti-fragile, you will go down, yes. But after that, after falling down, you come back to the better point in contrast with the first point. It is anti-fragile. It's a very good concept also in organization, especially in critical durations like this time. And prioritize human capital planning and don't invest too many initiatives. It's very important. It's not about the tunnel visioning. Tunnel visioning is concentration, only one point. And if that point is not assessed so good, is not gathering information about your investment point is not so good, your tunnel vision make you very, very, very vulnerable about the market changes. It is not about the tunnel vision. It is about the concentration in 1 or 2 or 3 points of market, not many initiatives. When you have many initiatives, you cannot concentrate on your workforce, on your market. And when you lose your concentration, honestly, you lose every type of leadership and management. Okay, let's go to the break. And after 15 minutes in 7:05, again, be here. Thank you. Hello again. Ooh, welcome. Okay. These are the core competencies that we talk about in the first part of our session. Let me do it full screen. Yeah. Core competency are interfere with two parts of their organization: productivity, customer service, and organizational culture. That in the next slides, we will review these interferences of the core competency of our employees. Our employees are core competencies of our organization with the three main parts of organization: productivity, organizational culture, and customer. What is the definition of efficiency? As the manager, as the engineer, as the mathematician, how do you define the efficiency? What is the efficiency? Very simple definition of efficiency. There's a ratio. Ratio of what to what is efficiency. The ratio is always smaller than 1. It's never gone to 1. They're never equal to 1. What is the ratio? Ratio of what to what is called efficiency, or sometimes efficacy. Do you know? Output to input. Ratio of output to input is efficacy or efficiency. Why it is always smaller than the 1? Because all your output is always smaller than your input. You have at minimum level, you have a little waste. Waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy, waste of everything. It is the simplest definition of efficiency. In organizational, in the psychology, in mathematics and management, in operation research, in industrial engineering and other parts of engineering or brain, even in brain, efficiency is always smaller than 1 or smaller than 100%. When you say 100%, it is equal to 1. When you say something is equal smaller than 1, it means that it is smaller than 100%. Why? If output is equal to input, it is equal to 1. But always output is a little smaller, at least a little smaller than input. It is called efficiency. I talk about efficiency because the meaning of productivity is very, very near to efficiency. Productivity is a measure of the quantity and quality, 2 parts, not only quantity, not even quality. A measure of the quantity and quality of work done, considering the cost of the resources used. So what are the major keywords are at first? Productivity is a measure and about quantity and quality and the cost. So work done, cost. So we have 2 keywords for productivity. What has been done and with what cost? What are the costs? A measure of the quantity and quality of work done, considering the cost of the resources used. But you have a very specific phrase here. It is unit labor cost. It's again, unit labor cost is again a measure very near to the concept of productivity. After that, we want to talk about productivity in the aspect, in the background, in the context of human resource management. When you want to about the unit labor cost, you should talk about the measure of HR productivity computed, it's computerized by dividing the average cost of workers by the average levels of output. We are talking about the workers and we are talking about the outputs. It is unit labor cost. So ULC or unit labor cost is a measure of HR productivity computed. It is some types of calculation a measure of HR productivity computed by dividing the average cost by the average levels of output. Cost to output is unit labor cost. It is opposite of efficiency. And efficiency is output to input. Cost is input. Output is, for example, our profit, our benefits are output. It is opposite of efficiency. Efficiency, output to input, and unit labor cost is input to output. What is input? Our cost. What is our output? The work done. You see, HR approaches to improving productivity. We have 4 approaches to productivity improvement. Four approaches for mainstream to consider productivity as a measure, as a scale for think about the efficiency or not efficiency of your, for example, Department of Human Resources, HR. The first is organization restructuring. Second part is redesigning work. Third one, aligning HR activities. And fourth one is outsourcing analysis. These are the 4 approaches for human resource in an organization for considering efficacy or productivity of human resource management in an organization. What are the components of organizing restructuring? First, revising organizational structure. Revision. You have vision and revision. Revising organizational structure when you want to organizational restructure. 2, reducing staff, lowering the amount of your employees, aiding in mergers and acquisitions. These are the major 3 elements of organizing restructuring. The second approach is redesigning work. It's about changing workloads and combining jobs, changing workloads, not reducing, not necessarily reducing the workload. It is about the combining the jobs and changing the workload. But ordinarily, we want to reduce the workload, not to increase the workload. Reshaping jobs because of technology changes. This is very important. It's very mandatory. Anybody in their world cannot be resistant to technology. Anybody. It's a part of human evolutionary cycle. Now, in transhuman theory, in post-human theory, you don't know Farsi language. Tomorrow morning, I have a very good Insta Live in Farsi language with the professors in this field of evolutionary psychology about this matter. The title of Insta Live is Post-Human. Homo digital, but sorry, it is a Farsi language. Aligning HR activities. It is attracting and retraining employees, first component. 2, training, developing, and evaluating employees, and compensating employees and other HR activities. When you say the word organization, what is the first word associated to your mind when I say organization? Mario, what is the first word associated to your mind when I say organization? The first word, don't think.
Order.
Order. Wayne, what's the first for you? The first word associated to your mind when I say organization. Don't think about it. But
Group.
Group. And Henry, what's the first word associated to mind when I say organization? The first word, don't think. You are muted. You are muted, Henry.
Sorry, I said company.
Company. And Jana?
Management.
Arrangement. Can I pronounce your name correct? Is it Jana or Jana?
Yana.
Yana. Okay, thank you. It's like a Russian name, little like something like Russia. Also, you said from the Slovakia. You said Russian culture is very favorite culture in that part of the Europe. It's a test, so-called word association test by Carl Gustav Jung. Carl Gustav, also the organization is not in the words that Carl Gustav Jung say to associate, but you see group, rules, shaping, orders. all the words that associated to your mind when you at first hear the word organization is about alignment, to be together in the same page, to be together in the same page, in one direction, work together. If you read the book about the theory of systems, it's a very old book by Bertalanffy. Bertalanffy was the founder and coiner of the system theory. At first, he talked about the biological system theories, and after that, other scientists see that, wow, such a good idea. We can use biological system theory and other system theories, especially in organizations. Bertalanffy, I think the book is about 1964 or 1968. I'm not certain about it, but it's about the 16th. It's very fundamental book about the system theory. At the first page, we have a definition of system. And I want to ask you about your own opinion about the system. What is system? Wayne, how do you define system? What is system? One line, at least 10 to 12 words for definition of a good definition, about 10 to 12 words vocabulary. What is system?
System is a process which
Perfect.
a company operates.
For what? What is the goal of a system?
To function.
Mario, do you want to say anything?
To function.
Function. What are the elements of the system, Henry? Yana, what are the elements of a system? For example, my body is a system, a biologic system. My computer is an electronic system. Your brain is a system, the most complicated system in the world. Why? UCLA has a project by the title of Human Connectome Project, HCP. Now, with $17 billion, it's a research project with $17 billion granting for discovering the wiring of brain. Human Connectome Project. You can see the movies and some good lectures in YouTube about HCP, Human Connectome, with $17 billion. They say after ending this project, for every $1 we have spent for the project, we will save $4 in brain disorders like, for example, Parkinson. As you know, now we have 5% of Alzheimer in America. One of the greatest countries in the world with Alzheimer's disease is America. If you go to UCLA part of Los Angeles, you see a lot of billboards about against the Alzheimer, about the Los Angeles Alzheimer Association and other parts. $1 investment, $4 saving with $17 billion. Your brain is the most complicated project in the world. With 1 kilogram and 400 grams. I don't know how much is it in the pound. It is near 3 pounds. Yes, your brain is near 3 pounds. For knowing, for recognizing the systematic connections in a 3-pound organization, so-called brain, we have spent $17 billion. Why we call brain the most complicated brain, the most complicated system? What are the elements of system? System, what is system? System is a set, not a single, a set of components work together, not work alone, work together for achieving a shared goal, not their own goals. So system has 3 components. A set of components, not a single, not two, not three, a set of components. Work together, collaboration, for a shared goal. If you have these three components, three elements in everything, you can call it a system. Set of components, collaboration, shared goals or shared meanings. Like your brain. Congratulations. You own the most complicated system, at least on the earth. If we don't want to talk about the universe, at least on the earth. You own the most complicated system on the earth. Because of that, you are the only being on the earth that feel aloneness. Because of that, you are the only being on the earth that feel anxiety. Any animals feel anxiety. Anxiety as a bad emotion, anxiety as a sadness. You are the only being on the earth that feel and experience death anxiety. Any of other mammals, even human homos like monkeys, like chimpanzees, doesn't have any view about the death. We are the only being on the earth that think about death. It is called death anxiety. We are the only being on the earth that cook. We cook our food. No other animal cook its food. No other, and other things. If you want to know more about your features, you should consider a field in university with the title of anthropology. Anthropology is the science of human. It has master degree and doctorate. Very, very, very interesting major field in university. Anthropology, the science of human, knowledge of human. We were talking about the alignment in HR. It's like your brain. Everything should be aligned. It should be a system. If you can align other parts of human resource in your company, it is called a system. And outsourcing analysis. Using domestic vendors or contractors instead of employees, and outsourcing operation internationally. What are the goals? The goals are increase organizational productivity. We are talking about productivity now. From the three parts of we talk here, it is productivity, customer service, and organizational culture. And we consider our employee as our core competencies, and reduce unit labor cost. The other part is customer service and quality efforts. We have two parts in human resource management. It is very important, especially customer service is very important. Customer service is the heart of marketing, is the heart of customer satisfaction. It's very important and very vulnerable part of an organization. Customer service is very vulnerable. The part that can damage everything in our customers is customer service. The third part is organizational culture, productivity, customer service, and organizational culture. What is culture? Give me a definition of culture. The first word you associated to your mind when I say culture is, for me, is ceremonies, rituals. For you, the first word association to you. Mario, what's the first word associated to your mind when I say culture?
Traditions.
Traditions. And Henry? The first word, don't think about it. Everything, not important. You are muted, Henry. And
Achievement.
Achievement. Wayne, the first word? When I say culture. Yana, the first word? Habit. For me is ritual, achievement. What was your word, Mario?
Traditions.
Traditions. And Wayne? When you are muted.
Yeah, I'll say tradition too.
Okay. Values, ceremonies, traditions, history. Many people remind history when you talk about culture. And more important than everything, habitual behaviors. For example, you say family culture, racial culture, gender culture, sexual-based culture. Some behaviors, for example, for female is habitual behaviors, or for male are habitual behavior. Or for Hispanic people or Muslim people or Christian people, it is, for example, religion-based cultures. And sometimes it indicates in the geographical territory. For example, we say European culture, Middle Eastern culture. We are talking about some habituals, some rituals, some traditions, as you said, in a very specific geographical territory, for example, like Middle East, or Far East, like, for example, Oriental countries like Korea, which is Wayne from. It's about the roots, about the history, about the tradition, especially about the rituals or habitual ceremonies. For example, 21st of March is the natural beginning day of spring, 21st of March. In my country, the first day of the year is 21st of March, at the end of some 2 or 3 weeks, next 2 weeks. Yes, this is first after 20 days. It is called Nowruz. Nowruz is registered by UNICEF as the world memory. It has 5,000 years of history. It is our culture, not culture. 8 countries, for example, Azerbaijan, Iran, and some parts of India, some parts of other parts of Middle East celebrate Nowruz as a tradition. It is our culture. And even if you go, for example, to Irvine, I don't know about the San Diego, but in Los Angeles and Irvine, you see a lot of, for example, flyers, a lot of pictures about Happy Nowruz. It is the culture. So the first word is tradition, rituals, concepts, meaning, depths. And now we are talking about organizational culture. Such a word it is. National culture, racial culture, ethnical culture, religious culture. What about organizational culture? How can you define organizational culture with this good introduction that I said about the different aspects of culture? Who is volunteer to giving a good definition of organizational culture without looking at the computer or your PowerPoint or your book? I need your own brain, not your own literacy about the organization. I need your words. Henry, Yana, Mario, Wayne, our absent students, who is his or her name, is Adnan. Adnan, maybe a friend, Arabic guy. His name is like Arabic guy. Okay. Give me your own definition of organizational culture without looking at your internet.
I would say organizational culture is the way, is the behavior of the organization, is the way the organization works.
You are talking about the habits, behavioral habits in organizations?
Yeah.
Perfect. Henry, are you from America? Are you here with us?
Yeah.
Which city are you at?
San Diego.
Oh, perfect. Everybody's from San Diego now. Except of me, everybody is from San Diego. I'm in Irvine.
How about you?
Yeah. Irvine, near you.
Oh, okay.
Irvine. Yeah. Okay, Wayne or Yana, your definition of organizational culture. You are the students of master degree, sorry, not the high school, not the bachelor degree. Your brain is your most important part of your education. I am not here to read the book that you can read alone in very, very easy in your home. I am here to create your mind, in your mind, something new. I am here to teach you how to ask questions, not to find the answer. Asking question, asking right question, and asking question in a righteous way is more important to find than finding answers. So because of that, I ask you, what is your definition of organizational culture? Yana, give me your brain.
So in my opinion, what I think, like just top of my head, it is maybe shared use the habits in the specific company or some traditions or patterns.
Say me an example. Give me an example.
Example of organization.
For example, when you talk about the beauty of cars all around the world, the first word is Mercedes-Benz.
Mm-hmm.
The symbol, the icon of beauty. Mercedes, not all types of Benz. Mercedes-Benz.
Mm-hmm.
And also when you talk about quality, also again they said Benz.
Mm.
Long term, if you go to buy a Benz from 4 decades ago, 4 decades, it's perfect, just now. Is it any organizational culture for quality? Have you seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari?
No, I haven't.
Henry, Wayne,
No.
Mario, have you seen the movie Ford versus Ferrari? Wayne, Mario, have you seen it? No. Do you see movie or not? Never.
Yeah.
Well, I used to, but not not now. Not I mean, with the way things are going, you know, in the
Also, I think Wayne know the question I want to ask just now, know the answer, because I think in the previous class I had with Wayne, I had question. What is the last movie or the famous movie you have seen about business? The world of business.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Perfect. Everybody says Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know why.
It was the last one. I like better The Big Short.
Yeah.
Which is from the housing market.
Uh-huh.
I like more that movie, but yeah, that was the last one that I've seen like related to business.
And after that, for example, about the economic recession in 2008, there is a perfect movie with the title of Marginal Call. Marginal Call. If you are becoming a profession in your field, you should know about the general culture in ordinary people about your professioncy. For example, if you are getting and you are becoming a marketer, you should know about the ordinary people thought about marketing. And one of the good tools to gaining the knowledge about the ordinary people, how they think about your proficiency. For example, for me as a psychologist, you as a businessman or woman or a marketer or an IT manager, I don't know. Everything which is your proficiency. If you want to know, to gain knowledge about how general people think about your proficiency, one of the good tools for this gaining is watching movies. I want a volunteer for the next session, next week, to say us only the name, the title of 10 business movies, 10 movies with the content related to business. One of them, Mario says. Second one, I said. Other 8 movies. One of them is Wolf of Wall Street. Second one, Marginal Call. Who is volunteer? The courageous volunteer in this class for the next session to say us 8 movies about business with the theme of business. Nobody is courageous here to do something hazard like this one. It needs at least 10 minutes. Wow, we have a courageous young man here by the name of Mario. Mario will do it. Perfect, Mario.
Yeah, I'll do it. No worries.
Yeah.
At least the 10 movies.
Yeah, 10 movies about the business, about the market. Also, I can help you for the third one. The third one is the movie. It is called Jobs. Jobs is a Jobs, yeah. 2 movies by the title of Jobs about the life of Steve Jobs.
Oh yeah, okay.
And the fourth one is about the how they create Facebook. It is social media, social network. Perfect. So we have 4 movies just now: Wolf of Wall Street, Marginal Call, Jobs, and Social Network. And Mario will say us the next 6 movies.
Can I just add?
What?
Can I add one? The founder, about the founder of McDonald's.
Yeah. Perfect. Yes. I haven't seen that movie, but I have downloaded that movie in my computer. Yes, it is about I think the life of General Saunders. General Saunders. Saunders is Saunders is for KFC. Yes, about the founder. The name of the movie is Founder.
Yeah, I think it's Founder.
Yeah. Also, every movie can have a side for business. For example, if you see the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it is 2019 Oscar winner. Yeah. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It is about the business in Hollywood, but not directly about the business, about the backscene of the dirty business of Hollywood, not about the clean business, about the very gangster part of Hollywood, backstage of Hollywood, with the dirty money, with the black market in Hollywood. It is not about the business, but that movie, yes. So Mario, please give us only 5 other movies about, and try after 2010, because we want to see the new movies. Okay.
I was wondering, would you go like? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, well, would you accept like now that you said that you mentioned this, like the one of McDonald's, the guy that ate McDonald's like for 40 days or something?
Yeah.
That kind of shows
how McDonald's works and their business,
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind will work, so I can like narrow it down.
Yeah. McDonald's has changed the culture of eating hamburger, eating beef.
Fast food.
In all human history, McDonald's has changed the culture of eating beef in all human history, before McDonald's and after McDonald's. And more important than that, KFC has changed the food and eating habits of eating food after creating KFC in all the history of human beings. Chicken is something else after KFC. I will find and we do the trailer in the Moodle page for you. There is a report about these companies, how they create our habitual behavior, eating habitual behavior from the first written history about, for example, 5,000 years ago. Before McDonald's and after McDonald's, especially before KFC and after KFC, all around the world. Thank you. Let's go to organization. I talk about the movies because one of the good sources you can find some good data about the organizational cultures and how change the culture and organization only sometimes even in 1 decade, not in 2 decades, in 3 decades, in only 1 decade. Now, for example, with this crisis like Corona, it can change only in 2 years or 3 years. And we have somebody here in the world, not in America only, in the world, like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is telling us that change can be very, very, very fast, huge, and basic. Very huge and basic. I forgot to say you should have a 10 minutes. We will talk about it the next session. You should have 10 minutes presentation during this 8 weeks course. And we will talk about the title. For example, I know one of my very good students in the class. We had with Wayne, I think, yes. In that class, one of our students present about the life and products of Elon Musk. And after the next week, we will talk about the titles you want to talk about 10 to 15 minutes with PowerPoint. It's very important to know how to create and use PowerPoint. You are students of master degree. And organizational culture, it is shared at first. Culture is not for only one person. Shared values, beliefs that give members of an organization meaning and provide them with rules for behavior. It is the last part. Evolves over a period of time. There is no fixed culture. Is constant and enduring. It's very important. Constitutes organizational social environment, and finally affects customer service and quality efforts, organizational productivity, and financial results. Okay, now you have 15 minutes for take your first week quiz. It's very simple. And do it, and after that you can leave the class. At the time of, I will do it here, I will send you for in chat. Every Monday, also it is not mandatory, every Monday at 8:15 to 9, we have a free class of meditation and relaxation in University Calendar that I will send just now for you. The link here, this is the link. It is from the center that I lead it. Yes, it's here. If you want, you can come to the class. It's the link. I send the link in the chat. If you want to come to the class, it's very good for you. Very good, very professional, very, very professional. Master Yoga is doing relaxation and meditation. It's very good for your brain. After 1 quarter after ending your class. Tonight, it begins at 10 past 8. By regular, it is 50 past 8. Okay, go and do the week 1 quiz.
Thank you, Professor. Have a good night.
You too. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, Professor.
Bye.